Hello, fifth grade, and welcome to Unit 3, Week 4. Our vocabulary words for this week are as follows. Our first word is the word function. A function is a use or a purpose for something. So the function of the battery is to run the laptop. Or you might have the function of a steering wheel is to help change the direction of the car. Our next word is the word flexible. Flexible means something is able to be bent without getting broken. So our example here is the flexible blades of grass sprang back up. So think about when you step on grass, those blades of grass come back up after you step on them. Next, we have the word obstacle. An obstacle is a thing that is basically in the way. So the mountains were a difficult obstacle for the travelers. Or if you're thinking about, maybe after a storm, trees that fell down, those trees are an obstacle in the way. So it makes it hard for people to walk or drive in an area where things are in the way. Next, we have the word artificial. Artificial means something that's not made by nature. It's something that's usually made by people. So the war veteran had an artificial leg. So something that is man-made, it's not something that comes from nature. Number 5 is the word technique. Techniques are the ways of bringing about a desired result. So the way you did something to make something happen. So they use certain training techniques to help build strong, leg muscles, or they used a specific technique of painting to create the kind of art that they do. People or things that mimic basically copy behaviors or voices very closely. So when you mimic something or someone, you are imitating them or you are copying them. So a lot of times you'll hear parrots mimic their owners, so they may repeat some of the words their owners say. Next, we have the word collaborate. Collaborate means to work together. It's just another way of saying work together. So you collaborate with your group on the group project. And last, you have the word dedicated. Someone who is dedicated is devoted. They fully bought into whatever the thing is that they're doing. They give themselves to it. So someone can be very dedicated to their work. They put in a lot of time and effort. They work very hard on it. You can be very dedicated to research. If you're a scientist, you're dedicated to your field that you're studying or working in. All right, let's take a look at our spelling for this week. So our spelling words are going to focus on the consonant LE syllables. So these are words that have a consonant and LE sound, usually at the end of them. So let's take a look at our phonics here. So you can make the consonant LE sound. So that's basically words that end with an ol sound at the end of them. You can spell that a few different ways. You can spell it with a consonant plus the letters LE, like crumble or tangle. You can spell them with a consonant and an OL, like the word symbol or patrol. You could spell it with a consonant EL, like the word tunnel or funnel. They all have that ol sound at the end. A consonant IL, like fossil or tonsil, or a consonant AL, like sandal or mammal. So your words for this week are the words stable, saddle, table, noble, paddle, stumble, terrible, beetle, pedal, eagle, royal, cripple, hospital, legal, label, vocal, journal, medal, several, sample, entertain, encounter, southern, impossible, and people. All right, next let's get into our comprehension skill and strategy, which is to ask and answer questions, as well as the main idea and key details of a text. So one way to make sure you understand a text, especially something like a science text, is to look and ask and answer questions that are related to the text that you're reading. So you may ask yourself, why is this happening? What is the cause? Any other questions that help you gain a better idea of what they're talking about will help you to understand it better. So the main idea of a text is what the passage that you're reading is mostly about. The key details give you supporting information about whatever that main idea is. So it may be your key details could be in the form of text and sentences. They could also be related diagrams, pictures, explanations, facts, charts, captions. Now, next, we're going to talk about our genre. Our genre is, again, expository text. So expository text is something that is nonfiction or informational. So expository text shares information with the reader. It gives facts and teaches about something. It has text features such as boldface words, headers, and titles. It can also have maps, pictures, illustrations, captions, other kinds of diagrams. Those are all things that incorporate into expository text. Next, we're going to talk about our vocab strategy for this week, which is Latin roots. So many of the roots of a lot of the common words that we have come from Greek and Latin. So some examples of specifically our common Latin roots over here, so not our Greek ones for this week, are found below. So you have nav, which means boat or ship, something that's related to positioning or location, like navigation or navigator. You have port, which means to carry, so something that is portable, something you can carry around. When you import, you carry something in. You export, you carry something out. Com means together, so like community or communal. Plex or plexus means braided or twisted, something that's complex is like complicated, got a lot of interrelated parts. Serve means to perform the duties of something. So a server or someone who serves others, they're performing some kind of duty in that particular role. Image means likeness. So if you're looking at images, you're looking at pictures of something. If you imagine something, you're picturing it in your head. Art means some kind of skill, like an artisan or an artist or someone who is artistic. Lab means work. So lab, L-A-B, or lab means labor or laborers are performing some kind of work. The Latin word sensus means to perceive or feel. So when you see sen or sense anywhere in your words, you're looking at something that has to do with how you perceive or how you feel something. So someone who is sensitive. Habitar is the Latin word that relates to living or to live or to dwell, a place where you live. So a habitat, or if a place is habitable, means that you're able to live there or it's your home. Trans means across, so transportation when you're moving across area or across land. Transcontinental means across a continent, like a transcontinental railroad. These are all different Latin roots that we use pretty commonly in the English language. Next, we're going to talk about grammar and linking verbs and capitalization. So for our grammar, we're going to first talk about what a verb is. So a verb tells you what the subject is or does. So to find the verb, you ask yourself, what does the sentence tell us that the subject is or that the subject does? These can be actions that you can observe, or they can be feelings and actions that cannot be seen. What does that mean? Let's take a look. Let's think about that. So if you like a particular book, liking is a verb. You can't see when someone likes something, but it's a thing that they experience or they feel. If you love your siblings, love is something that you do, but it's not necessarily something that you can see. Now we're going to talk about linking verbs. Linking verbs connect the subject of your sentence to a noun or an adjective in that same sentence. So it's a connecting verb. It's a linking verb, right? It connects one part to the other. Most of the time, your linking verbs are different forms of the word be. So this is different from a helping verb because it's not paired with another verb. You're not sticking it together with another verb. So different forms of the word be are am, is, are, was, were, be, and been. Now, other linking verbs that we can look at are the words look, seem, appear, become, feel, grow, smell, taste. These all basically link your subject to another noun or to an adjective. So I can say, I am late for the pizza party. She is my best friend. I do my chores every morning. I look for my mom in the crowd. She feels grumpy today. The baby appears to like apples. So these are all linking something, your subject, to something else in the sentence, another noun or an adjective. Now you can have linking verbs that show tense. So they can show you past tense, present tense, or future tense. So past tense is like was, were, or been. Those tell you about something that happened before. Present tense is, am, or are. And future tense is will be. These all give you clues about when something is happening. Now, the noun that follows or the noun that comes after a linking verb renames or identifies the subject. The adjective that follows a linking verb describes the subject. That is called a predicate adjective because it's found in the predicate part of the sentence. All right, next let's take a look at titles and capitalization. Titles always begin with a capital letter, no matter what the word is. All major words in a title are also capitalized. So we don't use a capital letter for articles, which are basically the words a, and the, unless they're the first word in the title. Any of your conjunctions, any of your fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, again, unless they are the first word in the title. Any prepositions, so words that show direction, time, place, location, relationship, so words like above, across, against, along, at, near, into, all of these. There's a long list of them. I put a bunch of them right here for you. Those are not capitalized, again, unless they're the first word in the title. Now, we always underline or italicize. So when you italicize something, you basically write it kind of slanted like this. You underline or italicize the titles of major works, such as books, newspapers, and magazines. So The Mouse and the Motorcycle, that's a book, I underlined it. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, another book, I underlined it. The New York Times is a newspaper, so I italicize that. Highlights Magazine is a magazine, I italicize that. You can also use quotation marks around smaller works like poems or songs or short stories. So The Raven is a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. So we put quotation marks around it. Baby Shark is a song. Where the Sidewalk Ends is a poem by Shel Silverstein. Now remember, capitalize all the major words also in product names like companies. So Nike, Apple, Samsung, Google. You capitalize the important words in there the same way you capitalize in the title of a book. So product names don't require underlining, italicizing, or quotation marks. If it's a product, if it's a thing you buy, like any one of these, you don't have to do anything to it other than capitalize it. That takes us to the end of our grammar notes. Next, we're going to get into our weekly reading.
Genre: expository text. Essential question: what benefits come from people working as a group? Read about how a group of people work together to help an animal in need. Winter's Tale: how one little dolphin learned to swim again. Told by Juliana, Isabella, and Craig Hatkoff. One cold winter morning just off the east coast of Florida, a baby female dolphin managed to get tangled up in a crab trap. In the effort to free herself, the dolphin caused the ropes securing the crab trap to the buoy to become wrapped around her tail. The more she struggled, the tighter the ropes became, quickly strangling her tail. Luckily, a nearby fisherman caught a glimpse of this unusual situation and came to set the little dolphin free. It was not clear she would survive. And even if she did survive, how would a dolphin manage without a tail? How would she swim? How would she thrive? Life without her tail would cause many challenges, but with the help and care of a great number of dedicated people, a dolphin named Winter would beat the odds. In return, Winter's story would inspire and warm the hearts of people all over the world. December 10th, 2005 was a chilly Saturday. Jim Savage was the only fisherman braving the bitter wind in Mosquito Lagoon that morning. As Jim steered his boat in the dim light, he noticed a line of crab traps rigged just beneath the water's surface. One trap seemed to be going in a direction opposite from the others. Something was pulling it against the strong wind. Jim idled his boat and steered slowly toward the trap. Even before he could see anything, he heard a harsh, rasping sound over the sound of the waves. When he searched the murky water, Jim found a baby dolphin gasping for breath. She was caught. A rope from the trap was wrapped tightly around both her mouth and tail. The dolphin was so tangled in the rope that her small body was curled like a horseshoe, her mouth pulled close to her tail. Jim spoke to her, assuring her that he was there to help. He knew he needed to free her head first, so she could raise her blowhole out of the water and breathe normally. The dolphin struggled as Jim used his fish-cleaning knife to cut the line that tied her mouth and tail together. A badly injured Winter in Mosquito Lagoon shortly after being freed. Several minutes later, Jim pulled off the last of the rope, and the young dolphin swam away from the boat. She kept her distance from the fisherman, but she did not leave the lagoon. After 30 minutes, Jim understood that she was too exhausted, too injured. He called Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. The workers there would know how to take care of a wounded dolphin. Jim watched over the dolphin until the rescue team arrived a few hours later. As soon as they saw the cuts around the dolphin's tail, they knew they would need to move her somewhere safe so she could heal. Even though she was injured, the dolphin was not easy to catch, but they finally corralled her. After lifting her from the lagoon, the rescue team tried to help her relax before carrying her to the transport van. They had a long drive ahead of them, all the way across Florida to the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Teresa, from the Hub's SeaWorld Research Institute, tries to keep a shivering, injured Winter warm and calm. A small, anxious crowd awaited the dolphin's arrival at the aquarium. The group included a veterinarian, dolphin trainers, and volunteers. When the van pulled up, they were all ready to help. It had not been an easy journey. The dolphin had been out of the water for more than 3 hours. On top of that, the night air was cold. It was so chilly that the group decided to name the dolphin Winter. The rescue workers carefully moved Winter to a holding tank. Abby, the head dolphin trainer, stood alongside Winter in the tank. Immediately, the veterinarian evaluated Winter's health. It was clear the little dolphin was badly injured. The vet estimated that Winter was only 2 or 3 months old. In the wild, baby dolphins drink their mother's milk until they are about 2 years old. Winter was so young that she would not know how to eat a fish if they offered it to her. But she needed food. The only choice was to gently insert a special feeding tube down her throat. Winter was probably still scared from her ordeal, so, although the tube did not hurt, she continued to struggle. Abby and the rest of the aquarium staff knew, however, that it was good that Winter was struggling. It showed she still had the heart and energy to protect herself. It would take time for Winter to accept help from all of the many people who were making it possible for her to survive. On Winter's second day at the aquarium, Abby showed her a bottle. The bottle contained a milk formula developed for zoo animals. At first, Winter did not know what the bottle was for. It took her a week to get the hang of drinking from it. And then the staff no longer needed to feed her with the tube. Each day they weighed Winter. She started to gain weight. It was a good sign. Winter was still very sick. The rope from the trap had wrapped so tightly around her tail that it had stopped the blood flow. Pieces of her tail were starting to flake off, little by little. Nonetheless, by the end of the week, Abby and the other trainers no longer felt they had to support Winter in the water. They encouraged her to swim on her own, and then, just as everyone feared, Winter lost her tail. What was left was a fleshy stump that would heal over time. Would Winter be able to swim without her tail? A volunteer coaxes Winter to drink from a bottle. Winter did start to swim on her own, but she did not swim like other dolphins. Her tail stump swished from side to side, more like the motion of a fish or a shark than the up and down tail action of a dolphin. Still, it was amazing. Winter had taught herself an entirely new way to swim. Her trainers were impressed, but they were also concerned that she might damage her backbone by swimming the wrong way. Although Winter's tail had fallen off, the wound had healed. She was getting used to her new home and her handlers. Whenever someone arrived next to her pool with a bottle, she gave a cheery welcome of clicks and whistles. By the time Winter was about 5 months old, she began daily training sessions with her handlers. They used training techniques similar to those used with the aquarium's other dolphins, and she learned to listen to their signals. Winter was a quick and enthusiastic learner. Winter and Abby enjoy their training sessions together. Winter had learned to trust the people who cared for her, but she had not seen another dolphin since arriving at the aquarium. Now it was time to meet a new friend. The trainers decided to introduce Winter to Panama, a female dolphin who had been rescued as well. The trainers were not sure how Winter would react to Panama, or how Panama would react to Winter. Would Panama even recognize Winter as a dolphin? When they first brought Winter to the new tank, Panama kept her distance. Winter stayed by the edge where she felt safest and watched the older dolphins swim laps around the pool. But Winter got tired of waiting. If she wanted to make a friend, it was clear she would have to make it happen. Now, whenever Panama passed, Winter swam out to greet her. Panama tried to ignore Winter, but Winter was unfazed. She kept playfully approaching Panama. Finally, after 3 long days, Panama gave up. She stopped trying to swim away from Winter, and the two dolphins have been together ever since. Panama lets Winter trail just behind her, the way baby dolphins follow their mothers. When Winter was about a year old, NBC's The Today Show broadcast a story about her on television. Now the word was out. Winter was famous. People started to come in droves to visit her at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. The charming young dolphin also started to receive letters from her new fans, including many people who knew someone who had, or had themselves, lost or been born without a limb, or had other disabilities. Everyone could relate to Winter. Winter seemed to be able to overcome any obstacle. While her vets and trainers were happy that Winter was adjusting to her new life, they knew she was about to face her biggest challenge. Months of swimming from side to side had taken their toll. Abby helped Winter do special poolside exercises, but Winter's muscles were not as flexible and developed as they should have been. Winter needed to be able to swim like a dolphin again. Luckily, Kevin Carroll heard about Winter on the radio and contacted the aquarium. Kevin was not only a dolphin lover, he was also a premier creator of prostheses, special devices that can help replace a body part, such as an arm or a leg. Kevin believed he could help. Winter helps others understand what it means to have a disability and how people can adapt to almost any circumstance. Being a dolphin, Winter was a special case. Not only would her prosthesis have to work in the water, it would also have to handle the force of each thrust of her tail. A team of experts, including Kevin Carroll, vets, dolphin trainers, and marine mammal researchers came together to help make Winter's new tail a reality. Everyone shared ideas about how to create the best prosthesis for Winter. It was something that had never been done before, and there were many obstacles. The first was the fit. Winter did not have a tail joint or any other place for a prosthesis to attach to her body. In addition, dolphins have especially sensitive skin. The team would need to figure out how to connect the tail without causing irritation or discomfort to Winter. The second concern was the tail's function. They needed a design that would mimic the up and down movement of a swimming dolphin. Kevin Carroll left, and his team faced many challenges in devising the perfect tail for Winter. Finally, there was a concern for Winter herself. How would she react to wearing the tail? Abby and the other trainers worked tirelessly, preparing Winter. First, they needed to help Winter get used to the feel of wearing a prosthesis. Then they could teach her how to swim with her own prosthetic tail. The development team quickly realized they would have to create a sleeve designed specifically to fit Winter. They made a mold of her peduncle so the new sleeve would be a perfect fit. Then Kevin Carroll went one step further. He created a special silicone gel that would be smooth against Winter's skin and would add a cushion to make the prosthesis more comfortable for Winter to wear. It took several months and several designs for the team to develop a prosthetic sleeve and a tail that matched the natural motion of an actual dolphin tail. They ended up with a unique design. There would be two sleeves. The main silicone sleeve would fit right on Winter's peduncle. A second sleeve would fit on top of the first and would hold the tail and its brace in place. Winter's special tail. Abby spent many hours training Winter how to move her body while wearing the prosthetic tail. Abby needed Winter to understand that when she was wearing the prosthesis, it was a signal for her to swim by using her tail, not her fins, to move herself forward. Winter seems to like her new tail. She will sometimes swim in circles, chasing it, or showing off by swimming right past Panama and flicking her tail in her friend's face. Some days, she doesn't want her trainers to take it off. Winter now wears her tail every day for a short period of time. A trainer is always close by to keep an eye on her. The goal is for Winter to eventually wear the prosthesis a few hours every day, which will be enough to keep her backbone healthy and her body flexible. Even after Winter's first brief outings with the new tail, her trainers could already see an improvement. Winter adjusts like a pro and learns to swim with her new tail. Winter had a big party on her third birthday, complete with a cake and candles. Many people came to help her celebrate, and she seemed happy to see them all. We cannot know what Winter is really thinking, but her trainers admit that she seems to have a special understanding with the people who visit her. The people feel a connection to her as well. From children who have prostheses, to veterans who lost a limb fighting in a war, to one little girl who didn't want to wear a hearing aid until she met Winter. People see how Winter has learned to adapt and are inspired by her story. With the help of Kevin Carroll, Winter is also sharing her prosthetic technology. After creating the silicone gel for her sleeve, Kevin realized that the same material that made it more comfortable for Winter to wear her prosthetic tail could help people who wear prostheses too. Kevin put the gel to the test on a veteran of the Iraq War who was having difficulty with his artificial legs. The silicone gel created an extra cushion that helped reduce the veteran's discomfort. It was a big breakthrough, making life a little easier for people needing prostheses. Special guests present Winter with her birthday cake. Winter may have lost her family, her home, and eventually her tail, But she found a new home and family at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. She found Panama, Abby, and the vets, trainers, and volunteers who take care of her on a daily basis. With the help of all these people, she also has a new tale. Through these changes, one thing has stayed the same. Winter's uplifting spirit and her resilience have helped her adjust and make the most of every situation. And her story is far from over. She is still learning all of the things she can do with her special tail, and her trainers and prosthetic designers are still learning how they can help her even more. Every step of the way, they will need to be open to new ideas and be willing to try different solutions. Their shared goal is to help Winter live a long, healthy, and happy life. As for Winter, she seems ready for any new challenge. As champion, inspiration, and friend, Winter is one little dolphin who gives people hope and shows us that anything is possible.